Okay, from Heartland Business and Event Center, nestled in vibrant downtown Jesup, Iowa. Welcome to the cradle of the Bohemian Resistance, where the underground are the voice of rebellion and wit, alongside producer Blake Tempus and warrior poet Dale Rueber. On the Marquis of Chatham, Jim Gillespie, and this is the news for January 19th, 2025. Six. You're right. Thank you. I'm losing a year.
Well, we all could afford to do that.
Yes. A couple of things. Many industry sources report 90% of podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes.
3 episodes?
Past 3 episodes.
Wow.
The 10% that do make it past 3 episodes, 90% of those podcasts don't make it past 20 episodes. Those statistics alone reframe everything. The answer is now clear.
So we're in that small percentage of those that
we are.
past 20. Okay.
Are we heavy, Blake? You've been carrying us. Thank you. So a sponsor of our show is Derek's Repair, located in Jesup, Iowa. Contact Derek Marty for your car repair needs. Tonight, we're lucky we have Kirk Brownson here. Kirk has been on Facebook a little bit and has been talking about the intersection at Dubuque Road and South Canfield Road. He's stirred up a little conversation, and that's good. That's what we want.
Right.
We want conversation. Welcome, Kirk.
Well, thank you.
It's I'm glad you came. A lot of people don't come in. You'd be amazed how many people are shy.
Well, that's me too, but I'll stuff it out.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to use the stun gun on you or anything. So you're very rare. So
let's first talk about where Dubuque Road and South Canfield Road is. Where's that located at, Kirk?
Well, it's out west of town here on South Street, Dubuque Road. Probably
5 miles. I think.
5 miles.
Yeah, I think it's 5 miles.
It's the road that and the Canfield goes from Dunkerton down to by Gilbertville, and it also goes past the freeway, so you get a lot of traffic going.
Yeah, it goes to
north
LaPorte
out
City.
of there. LaPorte City.
Outside of LaPorte City.
Yeah.
All right, and then Dubuque Road is Old 20.
Not old 20, just
Right.
old 20.
Old 20 is Independence Avenue.
And it's funny how they did that, because that was the road that went to Independence, so they called it Independence Avenue.
Yeah.
And then this one was Dubuque Road because it goes to Dubuque, and they also have a Dysart Road and LaPorte Road, and Waterloo did that for some reason, which I thought was kind of a neat thing to do back in the day.
Yeah, but that is in Black Hawk County. It's about 5 miles from Jesup, and it is one of the most dangerous intersections that I know of. And Kirk, you got in conversations with people on Facebook about that. What's your thoughts on this intersection?
Well, I really didn't have any opinion too much. I knew about the conversations in the past about that intersection because of the deaths. And then a couple weeks back, we had another death. And then a week and a half ago, I was on my way to work. Takes me right through that intersection. It was a rainy night, and I'm going along 55, and I am aware that there's been deaths at that intersection.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wary. And here comes the pickup truck going north, heading toward Dunkerton. He does a roll and go at that intersection, and I had to slam on my brakes and pull over into the right and the left-hand lane to avoid him. And I don't think he ever did see me. Luckily, nobody was hurt. No, I didn't end up in the ditch or nothing. Didn't make me think. And I reported it to the Jesup website there. And
that is a stop sign that has the red lights around it. They
it's
flash
got
on and off. It's very easy to see.
I don't
that
know
stop
how
sign.
you could make it, harder to see other than
It's very
doing
easy.
something physical in their way.
Yeah, it's very easy. It lights up like anybody's business, and I don't understand how anybody could go through there without seeing it. They see it,
They
but they
do it
ignore
all
it. I
the
guess.
time, though.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I have a statistic for you. Because I knew you were coming on the show. I checked some statistics on stop signs with blinking red lights. 50% of the drivers will roll and go those stop signs. I mean, I knew in town a lot of people roll through through stop sign. But out in the country like that, I never realized the statistics were that high. That's an amazing number.
Yeah, and why would they do that? I don't, because it's not any safer, because the other side, the other cross traffic does not have to stop.
No.
And it's very plainly marked that the cross traffic does not stop, and so somebody's got to stop.
So I've got to tell you before we go on, about a month ago, I was driving, and unlike you, I know that's a very, very dangerous intersection. Dale and I have talked a lot about this intersection. I was driving west toward Waterloo, and it was nighttime. It was dark, and I saw lights coming from Dunkerton from the north, and he wasn't slowing down, so I slowed down, and he blew that intersection.
Yeah.
I mean, he went right through it.
Yeah, I always watch that intersection very carefully when I'm driving. I never take anything for granted because it's got a bad history.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, Kirk, what's your thought? What should be done to this intersection?
Well, I did a little research when people started getting their hair all up. I did a little research, and what I found out was if you put in a roundabout, you'll have 70 to 80 less accidents altogether at that kind of an intersection. And in Iowa, there has never been a fatality on a roundabout.
Oh, I believe that.
There have been fender benders,
Yeah.
but no fatality. And they make them big enough that a semi can actually negotiate it.
Sure.
So I think it's a no-brainer. We're not going to be able to have a police officer sit there 24/7 making sure nobody blows that stop sign. This was 8:30 at night on a Sunday. There's no police officers going to be sitting out there.
No.
I don't know.
I saw someone on that Facebook page or post that you made. Somebody said, "Well, let's put cameras out there." Well, the legislators made those cameras illegal. I mean, you can't. Those cameras are no longer. Cannot charge people.
And a camera doesn't stop somebody from having an accident.
No,
all it does is record who had the accident.
You're still dead.
Unfortunately, I saw a couple of people post, "Well, don't punish me in my taxes by someone else's stupidity." Well, that's what an accident is. I hate to call accident stupidity, but that's what an accident is. People blow through there. Accidents are accident. It happens. You're not going to stop it unless you change it.
Yeah, you get a couple fatalities through there, you're going to be talking a couple $1 million worth of claims just on that. So money is not the object.
Yeah.
You go back, you guys remember the name Lee Iacocca. Back in the 1960s, Lee Iacocca worked for Ford, and he came up against the Volkswagen Bug. All the guys were coming back from Germany, and they wanted a light car that they could throw their golf bags in the back of that cost less than $2,000. So they built the Ford 2000. You know what the Ford 2000 was?
I thought they built a Mustang. Iacocca built the Mustang.
He built the Mustang. He also built the Ford Pinto.
Okay.
And the Ford Pinto was $2,000, weighed less than 2,000 pounds. That's why it was called the Ford 2000. He asked the government before they built it, because they built it wrong, what the value of a human life. Well, the value in the 1960s of a human life, the government said, was $200,000. I haven't seen any numbers since then. I don't think the government is foolish enough to do that anymore.
Probably not.
Yeah, but they said at the time it was $200,000. So what they had done was and I'll try to do this for the camera, but they had made the gas tank where there was a bolt on the bottom, and the gas tank was in the back of the Ford Pinto, and they would get rear-ended, and that bolt on the bottom would puncture the gas tank.
Okay.
Well, you guys are both old enough to remember everybody in the 1960s smoked a cigarette. They knew that people would burn to death in those cars. Well, they figured out the amount of lawsuits that would come compared to the amount of cars they would sell, they would make plenty of money. They wouldn't lose money. So they found out Lee Iacocca had done this math, and they suspended him for 1 year before he went to. They fired him at Ford, suspended him for 1 year Then he went to Chrysler and saved Chrysler, if you remember.
So it was not going to cost them to be sued, so they didn't change the gas tank placement. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yeah.
That's right.
See, that's kind of sad, isn't it? But
it's tragedy. But
big business more often than we probably know.
The challenge in my mind is if we go to the county supervisors in Black Hawk County and ask them what's the value of a human life, they cannot put a value on the human life.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room to build a roundabout out there. You go back, I can think of at least four accidents since I've been in Jesup for 40 years now, including the last 2 years.
Well, didn't they have one a couple years back where it was several kids from Dunkerton, or I'm not sure.
They were LaPorte kids going back to LaPorte City from Dunkerton. Yeah, in a car wreck. Yeah,
they didn't walk away from those. They lived, but they didn't walk away.
Well, one person died, right?
Yeah,
one died.
One died. A high school kid.
All three were hospitalized.
And I know Mr. Marquardt, who lived in Jesup, was killed in an accident where someone went through and ran into him. That was many years ago now, but so I know those two for sure. And I'm sure there've been lots of other accidents out at that corner that maybe didn't result in death. But to me, it seemed, if it's just money, you think about all the money they put into C-57 and 218 out there by Janesville, where they tried to make that a safe to get on from C-57 on to 218 to go north towards Waverly. And they had, I don't know how many different fixes, and none of them worked till they finally put the big money into, built the overpass and the long on-ramp. And as far as I know,
that was a dangerous
it was terrible.
And there wasn't anything to blind you.
There was nothing,
There was flat, all directions for miles.
It was just pure driver error.
People they don't pay attention. They get something like that, they just drive.
It was driver error, and we talked about you have the roundabout outside of Fairbank and the roundabout north of Raymond, and they cut down on accidents. There's no deaths out of any of those roundabouts, as you said. And to me, it'd well be worth the money I'd feel a lot safer going through that. How much does it really hamper you to slow down to 15 or 20 to go around that and then speed back up again?
If you're going from the other way, you don't even have to stop. You can still go after 15.
You don't stop. And so you probably save gas in the long run, and time probably too.
That one by Fairbank, the one between Jesup and Fairbank, I've seen people blow that intersection all the time back before they put that in.
Other options include a four-way stop, red lights, a hanging red
if
light.
Everybody stops.
That's the thing. Again, that's not going to save lives.
That's going to slow everybody down.
Yeah, and the roundabout will slow people down, but not stop people.
Yeah, you don't stop.
Yeah,
you don't stop. There's almost no way you're going to go through there at 60 miles an hour if there's a roundabout there. It's impossible. I guess you could try it if you wanted to, but I just think anybody with any kind of sense at all knows you got to make that tight little curve around there, you got to slow down. And,
somebody on there said, well, what about somebody just driving right through that and not even slowing down if you have a roundabout there?
Yeah.
I said, well, that person would have probably
had to buy a new car.
That person would have been really just flying if there wouldn't have been anything done there.
Yeah.
So
They hit somebody at 55.
Yeah.
I think we'd find our newest astronaut from Iowa.
He's flying through there. Yeah,
we would.
That would be a good speed bump. That circle in the middle.
That would. And I understand farmers own that land, but is that a county road? Is Dubuque Road a county road?
Technically, it's a county road. It's a secondary road. It's not a state road anymore because the county maintains it, not the state.
Yeah, they're both county roads.
Granted, 20 used to be a state road.
Yeah.
But since they put 20 south, it's Dubuque Road, and it's no longer
but it's got road. If they have a C or an X or something in front of those numbers, that's the county's. It belongs to the county, and the county maintains it.
Both those roads are...
Yeah, they're both county roads. And so sitting here thinking there's very wide ditches and everything there. I don't think they'd have to take very much land from anybody. I mean, it's an inconvenience, but, that's part of being a property owner, too, is knowing that sometimes the public good requires a little something, and it's better than running a pipeline through your land without you're okay. So, I'm more inclined to spend the money. If safety first, spend the money, and, the people pay for it.
That 1 one acreage would lose a corner, just a little corner.
Yeah.
But their house isn't on the corner. It's back.
Right.
They're probably going to be not happy with me for that.
Now, it is. Here's the problem, you guys. Is we're out here on the edge of Buchanan or of Blackhawk County.
Yeah.
We are last served because we're on the edge of. And they don't care about the edge.
Yeah.
And so...
And we don't live in Do you live in Blackhawk County by any chance?
Nope.
So none of us do, and so we have no standing, really, as far as the Board of Supervisors of Blackhawk County.
It might be time to get arrested, Dale.
Well, you're going to chain yourself to the courthouse?
They get a hay wagon and start a fire in the middle of that intersection so nobody can get through the intersection, maybe.
That's insurrection. That's really going for
again, it might be time to get arrested. Imagine those families, Dale.
Yeah.
That's what scares me the most is the families.
Yeah. No.
I think just present your case, and eventually cooler heads will prevail.
Okay.
It may not be this time, it might not be the next time, but eventually it'll happen.
Well, I'm glad that you're interested in this, I think, and that shows a lot. And you've put it on Facebook, and you got people talking about it, so you've helped a lot, I think. So thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming down and being on the show tonight. Appreciate it, Kirk, very much. This is T. Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Thanks again to Kirk Brownson for coming in. That's something that's really important, I really believe. So last week we forgot to cover our friend Mason Fox Top 100 song.
Okay.
We are at 49 to 40 this week. Mason, forgive me, but we got 49 to 40 this week. We'll see how many Dale knows.
Okay.
He pays attention to how many you know.
Oh, does it? Okay, I didn't know you were going to keep score. Okay,
He does. He
All
does.
right.
So number 49, Electric Light Orchestra, Hold On Tight.
Okay, I know this.
Yellow.
Yeah,
You know that one?
Yeah, they were at UNI in the Unidome.
Okay.
I think they sold it out when they were there. So okay.
Number 48, the Beastie Boys, Fight for Your Right.
Okay, I don't know the Beastie Boys.
Party. I know that one.
You're a lot younger than I am. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Number 47, Don Henley, Dirty Laundry.
Okay, I don't know that song. All I know from him is American Pie. I'm sorry, but
I don't know that one either. Number 46, Round and Round.
Okay, I don't know that one.
You stumped us, Mason, on that one.
That's the name of the song,
Round and Round.
and it's by the group called Rats.
Rats,
Okay,
yeah.
I've never heard of them.
This one I know. I've known this for a long time. Chubby Checker, The Twist.
Oh yeah, big song.
Yes, it was.
Is that just the twist and the peppermint twist? And I heard a guy say that the shortest album ever made was Chubby Checker's Greatest Hits.
Number 44. I know Mason is a big fan of this artist, Randy Travis, Digging Up Bones.
Okay, and I'm not a country guy, so I don't know. I know who Randy Travis is, but I'm not aware of his music. So you got me on that one too. So.
That's a good one. 43. Charlie Rich, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song. Yeah.
Number 42, this was our 1978 prom song from my days in high school, Dale.
Okay.
Hated it. It's by Kansas, Dust in the Wind. Jeez, I hate that song.
Oh yeah. Did you have a date for your prom?
I did.
Do you remember her name?
Jodine Vovis.
Jodie. Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened with her? She married and got 12 kids, or
She is married to a better man than I. Number 41, Led Zeppelin, Rock and Roll. And number 40, Hank Sr., You're Cheating Hard.
You're Cheating Hard. Yes.
Yeah, number 40.
It's one of my favorites. A lot of Hank Williams songs I really like. And sometimes they're done by other artists, but he wrote some wonderful songs.
It'd be interesting to know how many songs were done with Hank Williams' name in. I may have to look.
That's true too. Yeah.
I may have to look that up as we go through.
Did you see the movie they made about his? I think George Hamilton played him. It would have been in the middle '60s, but they showed he went to a record company and talked to them about music and getting a contract and this sort of thing. And they put him in a room and said, okay, write a song. And so they came back an hour later and he had, If You Got the Money, Honey, I Got the Time. He had that one for them. And then they signed him up then.
Signed him right there. That's
but
interesting.
They tested him out.
Yeah. All right. Don't forget, we are also sponsored by Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster. The Farrells are kind sponsors of this podcast. Include them at your wedding, graduation, or festival plans. Don't wait. Their schedule's filling up for 2026. Yes, I do know it's 2026.
Oh, yeah, I know you knew it.
Yeah.
I just
Misspoke.
Misspoke. I couldn't even think of misspoke.
They are sponsoring a traveling art show for the Steve Brown Art Center. Thanks to them for including the traveling art show. Dale, what do you have for us for dealing with Jesup?
Well, we have some Jesup activities going on, and the high school, the boys and girls basketball team are having some tough time lately, but they got games coming up that are very winnable. And the girls on the 19th I have Turkey Valley coming, and on the 22nd, they're at East Marshall. And do you remember the name of the town they play at in East Marshall? It's, I should know. The 24th, Oline comes to town, and the 26th, AGWSR. Jim, what do those stand for?
Berkeley, Geneva, Wellsburg, Steamboat Rock.
There you go. Okay. The boys on the 22nd are at East Marshall, and on the 24th, Oline comes to town for them also, and on the 26th also be a boy-girl doubleheader. AGWSR is coming to town. So, and their schedule just shows 5 games left outside of the tournaments after this coming week. And so,
Interesting.
So the season is ending. The wrestlers on the 22nd, I just do all they have left. At the 22nd, they're at Union, and the 123 and 124, that is OABCIG. What's that? Do you know?
OABCIG. Oliver, I can't remember.
So it must be some kind of 2-day thing they're doing, but I don't know what that is. And the 27th, are East Marshall and North Tama are coming to Jesup, and then the NICL tournament is on the 31st, and that's at Denver this year. So a lot of basketball and wrestling finishing up this month. Kelly down here at the Business and Event Center, they're all month they're having yoga by Bridget at 6 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday. So that's the 20th. And also on the 21st, they're having the sound healing, which is 6 o'clock. And I was going to ask her about this before she left. And on the 23rd, we got to come the Pizza, Puzzle, and Guzzle at 6:30. And you have to RSVP for that. And so I'm
going in on that?
Well, I don't know. I keep thinking it's about eating pizza and putting together a puzzle, and I don't know what you get to guzzle, but
how much does that cost?
It does not say. It just says RSVP. It doesn't say what cost. But
text
I know.
Kelly.
Well, I know that's the day that I am in Johnston at a band concert.
We're not in it then.
So
you would carry us with the puzzle.
Well, I suppose, yeah. So I got a puzzle. I'm trying. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, in the library, a lot of the everyday things that they do. The exercise group Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8. The card games on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. National Seed Swap Day. We talked a lot about that last week. Is on January 31st. You have those packages of seeds that are partly. You just use part of them or anything. Bring them in, and you can swap with other people, or you can just come in and get some that people have extra. And like any gardeners I know, you probably, if you have any questions or problems with anything, there's a lot of people there to be glad to help you. So if you need tech help, which we all do now and then, Mondays at 9 a.m. If you call down and make an appointment, they'll have somebody there to help you. If you have a new email, you got till the 1st of February to get that done, because JTTV is done for February 1st. And so they have a paint and sip with Allie on February 5th. So they rounded that out into February 6 o'clock. The Little Tots and the Fun and Play Thursdays, story time on Thursdays. The Monday movie on January 26th is Wild Oats with Shirley MacLaine, Jessica Lange, and Demi Moore. So it must be a girl movie, all three girls. Yeah. The Chapter Chat Book Club is on the January 19th, and this book is called Lulu Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. Okay? So, and I had learned something today. I was going to check you on perfidy.
Profanity?
No, perfidy.
Perfidy.
PERFIDY. Do you know what that is?
I use perfidy all the time.
No, you don't. And that is it's a war crime. And Pete Hegseth, our defense secretary, is being charged with this. He's also being charged as a war crime for bombing those civilian boats, international water, and also then bombing the wreckage of those boats, killing the survivors that managed to survive, all without any warrants, all without any evidence. They've not brought in any drugs. They've not brought in anybody to testify. They've brought in nothing. But then he's also charged with perfidy. And perfidy is a war crime, and that's camouflaging a military vehicle or weapon to make it look like it's civilian. And the plane that's been bombing these boats has been repainted to look like a civilian aircraft. And then it gets close enough to them, and then it bombs them. And that is a war crime. It's called perfidy. And so, never heard of that.
Neither.
All right. If we have time, I got some interesting things about solar energy that are going on here, and also about the disaster weather. So maybe we can get to some of that later on.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right.
But I'm glad you didn't know what perfidy is, because that always makes me feel good when I find something that you, with your vast knowledge, you've never heard of.
You're very kind.
Well, I'm not kind. But
it is. There's so much going on, Dale. We could.
I tell you, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Iran right now, they're saying that they've killed thousands of people there.
Don't you think it's something that is encouraging the demonstrators in Iran, and he's trying to kill the demonstrators in Minneapolis? I just find that very, very interesting. So
it is. They claim that there is a number of what is the Jewish Mossad, the Israeli Secret Service, in sparking those.
And they always claim that.
Yeah.
They always claim that.
Yeah.
Trump always says that the demonstrators have gone to demonstrating classes, and people have taught them, practice doing their chants and this sort of thing. 2005, but like 18,000 have been imprisoned or something. It was a big number, have been imprisoned. And I don't know much, but I know you don't want to go to prison in Iran. But, and again, we have to remember that the people arresting these people, beating these people, locking them in prison, are also Iranian citizens. And, they're really, I don't want to get any sympathy for them, but they're stuck, with this government that's ordering them around. And, we've had that conversation with our own soldiers here recently too, where Senator Kelly is under fire.
Yeah, well, they've turned on a second senator here, a female senator. Okay. Today was charged.
Is she a veteran?
Yeah,
okay.
She was a veteran I had not heard
that.
I can't remember her name, but she was charged as well. I have a show that I want to talk about. It is, those of you that watch Netflix, it's been on for years. I'll watch it once a year, generally around Christmas time. Netflix brings it back on, and they'll have it on for a few months, and then they'll take it off. It's called Messiah. Everybody thinks, it is about Jesus or whatever, but it's not. It's a sweeping, provocative thriller with that is also spiritual. Messiah stands out as one of Netflix's most intriguing one-season wonders. Blending geopolitical tension with a philosophical mystery, the series invites viewers into a world where faith, skepticism, and global media collide at full speed. Created by a guy by the name of Michael Petroni, the show follows a charismatic figure known as Almas, played with mesmerizing restraint by Mehdi Debi, whose sudden appearance in the Middle East sparks a movement that ripples across nations, institutions, and belief systems. What makes the Messiah so compelling as its refusal to hand the audience easy answers. The central question, is he a divine messenger or a master manipulator, is never treated as a gimmick. Instead, the show uses it as a lens to explore how modern societies respond to the extraordinary. Governments panic, intelligence agencies scramble, religious leaders wrestle with doubt, and ordinary people find themselves swept into a tide of hope and fear. The global scope gives the series a cinematic, reinforced by its international settings and multilingual dialogue. Michelle Monaghan, a big star, delivers a standout performance as a CIA officer. Eva Geller, whose pursuit of El Messiah becomes both professional obsession and a personal reckoning. Her grounded, emotionally layered portrayal provides a sharp counterbalance to a calm Debbie's character. John Ortiz, another star, as a Texas pastor whose life is upended by the Messiah's arrival in the U.S., adds another dimension, showing how spiritual longing and vulnerability can intersect unexpected ways. Visually, the series is striking. Its sweeping desert landscapes, tense urban sequences, intimate character moments, and captures with cinematic eye thanks to directors like James McTeague and Kate Woods, who bring both scale and nuance to the storytelling. The pace is tight, with each episode ending on a note that deepens the mystery rather than simply escalating the plot. One of the show's greatest strengths is its ambition. Society dares to ask big questions. How do we define truth in the age of a viral footage and political sign? What happens with faith becomes a global spectacle. And perhaps most provocatively, how would the modern world react if a messianic figure truly appeared? These questions resonate long after the final episode. I tell you, I've waited for season 2, and it frightens them, I think, to do season 2.
This is all just season 1.
Yeah, it's all one season. Yeah.
I thought it was, all right, go ahead.
It's one season.
Wow.
The series also excels at portraying the human side of belief. Characters from widely different backgrounds, agents, pastors, soldiers, journalists, are drawn into El Messiah's orbit, each projecting their own hopes, fears, and interruptions onto him. The mosaic of perspectives gives the show emotional depth and avoids simplistic moralizing. You got to watch this show.
And how many episodes are there?
There's right around, I believe, 8.
8? Okay.
Yeah.
In the first season.
It's
right.
it's about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Dale, it is, I've watched it 3 times, and each time it moves me.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Are you able to, do you do it like a one-day sitting sometime when it's raining, or just
no.
every now and then? Okay.
Usually I do about 2 episodes at a time.
Okay, yeah. Because you hear people talking about binge watching all the time, and haven't gotten into that, but I can watch 2 or 3 of something in a row sometimes if I like it. Okay, well, it sounds like a wonderful show.
It is. It starts in Syria in the Syrian Civil War. It goes through a sandstorm. It goes to Palestine. It comes to Texas. Goes to Washington D.C. and he crashes to end it, I believe, in Dubai or one of the in the desert in the Middle East somewhere.
He's back there.
Is where it ends.
Okay.
And it's an ending that just invites a second season.
So when you say he crashes, I mean, was he in a plane that crashed, or?
Well,
or you don't want to give that away?
What do they call it? What do they call it when you say spoiler alert here? Okay. He's in a plane being taken back by the Mossad.
Oh, okay. So he's under arrest, kind of.
He's under. Well, he gave himself up. It's interesting.
So a lot of parallels between that.
There are.
Okay.
Yes. It is just Dale. I recommend you and Deb watch it.
Okay.
This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and I'm Jim Gillespie with producer Blake Tempus and co-host Dale Rueber. We'll be back for the third half of our show right after this. The Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and we're back for the third half of our show. Dale, you said you have a few things dealing.
Yeah, well, I was interested. The Waterloo City Council signed an agreement with a company called Grand Husk Solar to lease 759 acres of city-owned land. Airport is owned by the city owns the airport land. Okay. And they're going to put solar panels on that land. Okay. Right now, the city is renting it out for farmland and not making all that much. So with the deal, this company is developing this land to get it ready. They're going to pay $50 per acre per year, which would make the city $37,950. When they actually start construction, they're going to pay the city $350 per acre per year, which would be $265,650 that the city will get each of those years. And once the thing is operational, once they start making energy, they will pay the city $1,400 per acre per year, which will make $1,062,600 per year the city will be getting, and they have a 20-year guarantee that they will be doing this for 20 years, which would make the city $21,252,000. The company says that once they have paid for everything, they got everything built, their only yearly cost will be to pay the lease and to maintain the area where the solar panels are. And so they'd be able to sell this electricity that they're making more cheaply because it's costing them so little to produce. They say solar energy is the cheapest energy to produce, to bake, to use. And so it sounded like a real great deal for the city of Waterloo to in 20 out of the next 40 years, at least 20 out of the next 40 years, they'll be making many millions of dollars to help out the taxpayers of Waterloo and to whatever they want to do with that money to improve their infrastructure. I have solar panels on my house, and I have a smaller home, but I added this up. The last year I did not have solar panels was 2018. And on your bill, they have a line fee and other kinds of fees, but there's one line that says just for the electricity that you bring into your home, how much that's cost. And so with solar panels, you still pay the line fee and all those other fees, but the only thing that's different is what you pay. You pay the same price for the juice that you use, but the juice you make, you sell back to Mid-America at the same price you're paying for the juice they send to you. So in 2018, I was spending, just for the juice now, be $66.67 a month, which is about $2.19. Okay, 2025, we had a sunny, this is the best year I ever had, but 9 of the 12 months I paid zero on that line for electricity. My total cost for electricity for the juice was $134.41, over $11 a month, or 37 cents a day. So my electricity cost me just basically pocket change. And that's 80, if I did my math right, it's 83% less than I used to pay. And so, it's not apples to apples because, like in 2018, I had a gas water heater, but in 2025, when I put the solar panels, I was putting an electric water heater. So actually I'm using more electricity, but then I also put in a more efficient furnace. So it's hard to juggle it out. This is by far, usually it's 6 or 7 months where I pay zero, but this year it was 9 months where I paid zero for the electricity. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is that President Trump was all excited about Venezuela. And if you listen to his news conference or talking about it, he mentioned oil, Venezuelan oil, at least 20 times, and that fossil fuels are what's causing us a lot of problems. And there's a related article then called Weather Disaster Costs Hit $115 billion for the United States in 2025. And this is from today's Des Moines Register, an article written by Doyle Rice for USA Today. The Los Angeles wildfires in January cost $61.2 billion, the costliest fire outbreak in U.S. history. So help push the nation's billion-dollar disasters to a near record last year, even without a single hurricane making landfall. According to the report, 2025 ranks as the third highest year for billion-dollar weather and climate disasters after 23 and 24. So you can see the last 3 years have been the worst in history. And this is really high, even without having a hurricane that hit the coastal United States. So since 1980, the United States has sustained $426 billion disasters with a total cost exceeding $3.1 trillion. Last year was part of a continuing trend of an elevated risk for weather and climate extremes across many parts of the country, said Adam Smith, who works for the Climate Central. He said, in addition, 2025 was the highest cost year without a billion-dollar hurricane making landfall. It was also the first year on record with a wildfire as the costliest event. The average interval between these costly events has narrowed to less than 2 weeks compared to months between events in previous decades. So we used to have these big disasters with months of separation. Now the average is 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks there's another disaster that costs over $1 billion. Scientific consensus is that climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of many types of extreme and severe weather. So climate change is costing us billions and actually trillions of dollars because of these weather events that are just, and if you turn on, it just seems like every day something is going crazy someplace in our country with fires and floods and storms and tornadoes and a much more frequent than ever before. There's a weather event that killed many people but didn't approach $1 billion, and there are a lot of those, like the July 4th Texas flooding that killed 137 people but didn't rise to that $1 billion mark. And so they're trying to change the way they keep the records so that anything that costs more than $100 million will become part of the statistics. So they're trying to capture a wider range of impacts. So it's talking about, and he had all those oil executives at the White House about getting more and more oil out of Venezuela to the United States so we can use more and more of it. And then to me, that just increases the chance of more and more weather disasters, which is going to end up costing everybody except probably the oil companies who are looking to make billions of dollars if they can be convinced to invest that much money in Venezuelan oil. So I think they're looking at the wrong thing here. And I think you got to look at solar energy. If you put $50 billion into solar energy in this country, just think how much electricity could be made at almost zero cost after after the initial investment was paid off. So anyway, those two things kind of went together for me this week, and so I thought I would mention them on our show tonight.
Dale has like weather has like hail or wind or anything ever damaged your solar panels?
No, not a bit. Never had any damage to them at all. And as I understand it, this company I worked with, if those panels need to come down for any reason, there's no cost to me. Like if I had to all at once put a new roof on, they would come and take those panels down. I get the new roof, then they put them back on, this sort of thing.
Okay.
As I understand it, they have like a 25-year guarantee. So if they get damaged by hail or anything, then they will be replaced. And
good.
And so it's worked out really, really well for Deb and I.
You've had them since 2018.
Yeah, all of January 2019 is when I pulled the lever and it turned them on. So it's working out really well.
All right. All right. Well, thank you. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Don't forget, we're showing Kyle Baca's work right now at M's Coffee over in Independence. Joe's Pizza in Manchester is sponsoring next week's show. We will be there. We're going to try to go live, depending on the internet and everything works. Otherwise, we will be recording the show over there next Wednesday. We have 3 artists with us. We have Billy Joel Oldakowski, we have Rex Nielsen, and we have Katie Behrens with us next week. And then Tim Kimmer will be there playing the guitar and debuting a song he has for it. So that's next Wednesday. Technology is wonderful when it works. The other things we have going. Don't forget, we have our 24-hour Mustang camera sponsored by Joe's Pizza in Independence. We have our 24-hour Hawk camera sponsored by Joe's Pizza in Manchester.
So Joe's Pizza wants to know who's driving by their spot, don't they?
Yes, they do. And then don't forget to check out the new Steve Brown Arts Center website.
Who put that together for us?
Our incredible producer, Blake Tempus.
Wow, isn't that wonderful?
It is remarkable. I mean, it is remarkable. I've had a number of people comment on that. So check
positively,
that out.
I'm sure.
Positively,
oh, yeah, okay,
yes,
yeah. We got to be sure.
Yep. I've been down. Have you been down in the new coffee shop?
No, but my wife was there today, and she said the portions of coffee are quite large. She and another lady split the coffee between.
Okay.
She says the cups are very big, but the scones are delicious. I have heard from several people. They'll warm them up for you and everything, and so they said everything is very tasty. So they had nothing but positive comments about it. So
we are going to have Olivia on the show in a couple weeks.
Oh, that would be great.
Olivia Fresh.
Yeah.
Talk about the coffee shop and also talk about the farmer's market in a couple of weeks. Don't forget, it is my intention to meet 12 new artists this year. Remember, anxiety does not exist with gratitude. Anxiety does not exist with gratitude. I have a thank you I want to do here, Dale. I want to thank our listeners of our podcast, and we have such loyal listeners. We talked earlier about 160 straight weeks. And to everyone who's tuned in, shared an episode, mentioned us to a friend, or simply let our voices accompany you on a drive across Iowa or a quiet evening at home, thank you. The Steve Brown Arts Center podcast exists because of you, your curiosity, your generosity, and your belief that creativity still matters in a world that often rushes past the small, beautiful things. Every download, every comment, every moment you spend with us is a reminder that storytelling still has power. You've helped transform what began as a local experiment and community connection into a gathering place for artists, thinkers, neighbors, and wanderers from far beyond Jesup. You've shown us that people still crave stories rooted in place, humor, history, and heart. You've proven that a small town arts center can spark conversation that travel far beyond county lines. Thank you for embracing our quirks, the bohemian tangents, the philosophical detours, the laughter that sometimes derails an interview, and the deep dives into local legends that only a community like ours could produce. You've welcomed our guests with open ears, the painters, the musicians, the teachers, the historians, and the dreamers, and the everyday heroes who make Iowa such fertile ground for creativity. You've allowed these stories to breathe, to matter, and to ripple outward. Thank you for supporting the mission of the Steve Brown Arts Center to celebrate the creativity in all its forms, to preserve the stories that might otherwise fade, and to build a community where art is not a luxury, but a shared language. Your listening is not passive. It is participation. It's collaboration. It's a vote of confidence in the idea that belongs to everyone. We're especially grateful for the way you've helped us grow. When you share an episode, you're not just spreading a link, you're extending an invitation into our circle. When you send us a message or offer a suggestion, you're shaping the direction of the show. When you show up at events, exhibitions, or community gatherings, you're proving creativity thrives when people show up for one another. We promise to keep showing up with curiosity, courage, and a sense of play. We promise to keep telling the stories that deserve to be heard. And we promise to keep building the creative home with you, one episode at a time.
Okay.
Dale, you had something?
Well, I last week I talked about my grandson in the hat, and I had put some money in the sweatband, and he had not called me about anything. Well, he called, when was it? Must have been just the other night, and they were listening to the podcast, and on their way to Pennsylvania, he had dropped the hat on the floor of the vehicle, of the van, and then when he picked it up, after a while he noticed there was a $20 bill laying on the floor of the van, and so he thought maybe he chided his dad for leaving money around and picked it up and put it away, and had not realized where that had come from until they were listening to the podcast on the way home from a play practice, and then they put two and two together. So I was just listening to the podcast can be a rewarding experience.
Good, very good.
I'm sorry to rain on your
that's
nice
all
parade,
right.
but I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, thank you for the update.
Okay.
If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center, have an idea for an event, go to the SteveBrownArtsCenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us presently as we're doing some technical changes.
Yeah.
Gillespie Golf, Golf, at gmail.com. That's jgillespiegolf@gmail.com, or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. I'm Jim Gillespie with co-host Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus over there. Our thanks as always to Kelly C. Haas and Heartland Business and Events Center for hosting us and sponsoring us. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your life. Hopefully, Dale, you and I got another 160 shows in us.
I don't know, man. I remember we're those baby boomers that are turning 80 pretty soon.
Yeah.
So.
Remember, each day is about little victories.
Yes, sir.